Good morning. My name is Dave Whalen. I'm on the marketing staff here at American Independent Marketing. Welcome again to our Friday webinar on personal accident insurance this time around. Appreciate you joining me today. Just a little commercial here where we do record all of our webinars, and we have for about the last 9 months. They're available for viewing on our website, which is www.whyaim.com, so the word Y, WHYAIM.com. Click on News and Events, scroll down the calendar of our webinars in the past, and click on it, and it'll take you to a link where you can view the recorded webinars. Like, for example, this one will probably be up on our website before noon, so you can go back and review it in case you have any additional questions. Joining me today is Bob Clancy with American General. He hails out of an office in Denver. Started off the week with a little bit of snow on the ground, but I think it's warmed up there a little bit. And what I like to do is pass everything over to Bob. Feel free to raise your hand or type in a question throughout the webinar, and I will also be unmuting everybody at the end for a Q&A session. So Bob, please take it away.
All right, terrific. Thanks, Dave. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. I don't know if I'm that far east that it is still afternoon, but yeah, we did start off with about 8 or 9 inches of snow this week, so this is one of those interesting times of the year for everybody across the country. What I'm going to try to do today is kind of add something to your portfolio that if you're not already in the accident world, or if you are, you'll learn a little bit more about our product portfolio. But I'm a firm believer that you know, we're in a challenging time. This issue with health reform, people are learning the hard way that some of the health insurance products that they've been purchasing aren't really doing everything that they thought they should. And our portfolio of products have been around for a while, and now they become even more integral in some day-to-day conversations. Besides the fact of our A&H product portfolio, I just want to share with you that American General certainly is a large company, and we have multiple units of insurance portfolios from life insurance and you know, the accident plan, certainly annuities, term insurance. We have a lot of marketing programs. In a meeting previously, I had gone through a concept that we call beneficiary review. It is a very non-threatening way for you to help your clients or your potential prospects understand that there are any number of investment and savings vehicles, mortgage notes, everything that have some beneficiaries that they probably should have those reviewed. And it's a great way to you to find out where the money is, but also they'll be very thankful that you've given them a tool. So you may want to ask Dave about that. We did send them what we call a playbook, which is one of these that's on the screen here. You get a one-pager, and all the information you need, you just click on one of those blue highlighted sections, and it'll take you into all that data. So just an idea to do some prospecting to maybe sell more of the products I'm going to talk about today. I'm a firm believer, because of my background in the life insurance and investment world. I made the transition in the late 90s for all intended purposes into the living benefits world, if you want to call it that way, that supplemental products, critical illness insurance, accident plans, disability, long-term care, are all part of the financial planning process. And they should be brought up in almost every conversation with the client, either at the point of sale or as a follow-up to other sales that you've already had with those clients. Because one of the big challenges are, especially when someone has an accident or has an illness diagnosis, is that if one person in that family unit is affected, the entire family is pulled into a financial sinkhole, and you need to give them some idea that there are some solutions out there to help them. So just giving you a quick overview is that, you know, this should be considered the same thing as asset protection. Any other type of vehicle that you might be out there talking with your clients, whether it be health insurance, investments, life insurance, long-term care, or all the above. You know, again, living benefits versus the death benefit component. We have not been affected by health reform and all the commission adjustments that occurred. It will complement their financial plans, and you could have some of the advisors to your clients might even be interested in helping you even find more individuals to talk to once you bring these up. Normally, as a general rule, these are pretty easy and quick sales. We're going to talk about guaranteed issue and simplified underwriting today on these products, and on 2 of them we have electronic submissions, so everything can be done long distance. Don't have to drive, across county lines or so to visit with a client. The living benefits help people maintain their standard of living. A pool of money or a cash infusion at the time that an event happens is certainly going to help a family unit in today's world. They can use the funds any way that they want. There are a lot of accidents that happen. We see them all the time. It's just not car accidents. People fall down in their bathrooms. People get hurt playing sports. There's any number of ways that people have unplanned events, if you will, that gets them to the emergency room to get some treatment or going to the hospital. The financial stress that's involved with trying to heal can sometimes really be a detriment, and having some funds to be able to offset those concerns about, should I see this doctor, should I go there, should I have this type of treatment done, this is where you really want to spend some time explaining to people that it's going to take that stress away from that healing process. There's been a lot of medical bankruptcies, related bankruptcies over the course of the years. We've seen them increase, and we've seen a big increase in sales. We're averaging maybe 3,000 plus apps every month on these types of products, and you should jump on the bandwagon here, because I think it'll be something that'll help your clients and also give you a boost in your revenue. These are some bits of information that are readily available from your associates at AIM. Talking about injuries, in 2010 there were 49,000 people that went to physician offices for unintended injuries, certainly an accident, and I'll define that for you. But the reality is, because these are accident plans, even if they had something in the past, we'll pay them for future accidents. And so it isn't like having a life insurance claim, a life insurance illness that would affect their future insurability, because our accident plans are guaranteed issue. It's going to be easy for you now to explain to someone that knows what those challenges and expenses were. I'm going to talk about critical illness too, because we add these as riders to these accident plans, so it makes it a simple process for you to bring up the concept of what critical illness insurance is and why it's such an integral part of their financial planning. You've heard all these data, and I'm not going to bore you with the details, but 60% of all the bankruptcies that have happened in years gone by have been medically related, and over 3/4 of those people owned some form of health insurance. So the question is, people find out what their health insurance doesn't do at the time an event happens. And these forms of protection help fill those gaps, to help people have the resources. People survive from heart attacks. People survive from strokes. I know that when I first got into the critical illness world back in 1997, 98, it was a 45% survival rate for strokes. So look what medical science is doing. And, with the new advances in technology and the medications and treatment, people are surviving and living longer after major events, but with that comes an expense. And as I said earlier, that accidents do happen. 1 out of 9 individuals, seek medical attention for injuries every year. So it is an important part to be added to their financial planning. What they need to know is that how do these supplemental products incorporate into some of the challenges that they will see once either an accident occurs or that they have an illness diagnosed, because they can discontinue or stop or inhibit them from putting money into their retirement plans. If it's a business, because this is a great tool for business succession planning, both the accident plans and the critical illness component, that they keep continuity in that business. If their children are in college and they've got a college funding plan, if they have to pull money out of that, it affects the future education of their children. Mortgage payments, certainly most important. That's the biggest expense that most people have. If they feel comfortable that they'll have at least enough funds to take care of the payments for maybe a year or two, at least they don't have that stress that could also inhibit their healing process. What if somebody in the family unit has to take care of them while they have one of these illnesses or accidents? That money is going to disappear because that person isn't going to be working, so this will offset that. And then the other thing that's really important is that when sometimes these major events happen and you have these bankruptcies or these hard financial times, other insurance premiums may not get paid. And they're integral and they're important. And sometimes if the health had changed, some of these plans, if they drop them, they can't go back and purchase them. So this is a wide variety of reasons that individuals should be looking at these type of plans. This is where I'm going to confuse you, but I hope you'll understand that we have 3 different accident plans nationwide. Emergency Care Plus. This is our base product that we've had for, gosh, 12, 13 years. It is a schedule of benefits plan. I'll talk about that here in a second. It's available in 99% of all the states here in the U.S. And in a couple of states, in both California and Nevada, we've added a critical illness rider to it. So when I start talking about the critical illness rider, and if you're in the states of California or Nevada, you know you can add that to the Emergency Care Plus. Then there's many other states where it doesn't have it. Now we have two other products that were more or less second generation. We try to help, especially the number of life producers that we have. In my jurisdiction alone, I have close to 45,000 licensed reps, and many of them are life insurance or investment advisors. And sometimes it is a little bit of a challenge talking about a schedule of benefits. Once they overcome it, it's easy, but the initial thing was a challenge. So we came up with a new concept of pooling all of the charges for an accident into one one way to determine the amount of protection and coverage that's going to be purchased. So if you look on the list here, whatever state you're in or you're doing business in, you'll see which products are available. And I'm going to go through each one of them briefly. And you may sometimes have, one state you're selling one product, and it may be another state selling a different one, but they're all pretty close in design. So what is an accident, injury? And we need to make sure that people understand that this is a triggering point for a claim for the accident. If someone's out playing golf and they come home and they complain to their spouse that their back is killing them, doesn't necessarily mean that they had an event. They just either had swung the club way too many times, or that wasn't too good, or they have a pretty bad technique, and so now they have a sore back. That's not an accident. But as you see here in this picture, if someone hits them in the head with a golf ball, that's an event. So you need to have an event that will trigger the claim. It isn't just in soreness or something that is a lingering problem that's been going on for a while. Something had to have triggered for them to get treatment. So the emergency care, as I said earlier, is a schedule of benefits that we will give them a lump sum check to use any way that they see fit, and they purchase it in the form of units, and I'll describe that. Accident Expense Plus and Accident Choice Plus, they purchase a pool of money to be utilized during a calendar year, and they draw down from there based on the number of accidents that they might have, or the total from one accident, and we kind of put all of those bills together and just use that for the pool of money to send to the consumer. So I want to get into one thing that's really important, is that if you've never ventured into the critical illness marketplace, which I know AIM is spending a tremendous amount of time and effort to help educate their associates in this area, this is the easiest way to do it with one of the riders added to the accident plans. We have a lower number of triggering points. It's simplified issue. It's pretty easy to describe to the client. It's easy for them to see it. It's cost effective. And so you'd want to be able to use this as maybe a stepping stone to see where the consumers recognize critical illness being a great opportunity for them to have in their financial portfolio. So I'm on the road all the time. People are traveling, and I'm, what do you do, where you go? When I say I'm in the insurance business, if they're not running down screaming, looking to change their seats, I ask them, who do you know in your family, in your circle of friends, business that's ever been diagnosed with a heart condition, cancer, or stroke, and survived, and what if? I gave them a check for anywhere from $5,000 to $500,000. What would change in their life? And the first thing that they really ask, they want to know what it's going to cost, but it is, how come I've not heard about this? And people are eager to hear about it. This is one of the best stories to be told today, because it is timely with all that's going on in the medical world and health reform, and people are understanding that these types of products fit. I'm not going to go into great detail on this piece, but in essence what it shows, this is based on our entire product line, from our critical illness products, our disability, and our life insurance. The example here is that a 40-year-old, that there's a 28% chance that that 40-year-old will be diagnosed with one of the illnesses in our standalone critical illness policy prior to age 65, as compared to a 19% chance that they would have a disability that would last for 6 months, as compared to only a 5% chance that they would die prior to age 65. So there's a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 probability that someone will succumb to having critical illness diagnosis, they need to hear about this, because it's the chance, because we all know somebody that passed away from the end results of a heart condition, cancer, or stroke, but that could have been 15 or 20 years ago that they were first diagnosed. That's when you would have handed them a check. All right, let me get into the products here, and then we'll come back and we'll try to talk about some market ideas where you should take this. Emergency Care Plus, issue ages 18 through 64. It's renewable through age 75, which is a little better than it is with some of our other plans. As I said earlier, California and Nevada have a critical illness rider, and Florida had their insurance commission asked us to enhance the product itself, and so it has some really great dollar figure return for premium. That's what I'll say. So if you're doing business in Florida, you certainly want to contact the folks at AIM and learn more about that. This is kind of a breakdown of the schedule of benefits. And so an individual has an accident, and it depends on exactly what transpired. There is going to be X number of dollars per unit that's going to be available for them to be reimbursed as we total up all the expenditures that they had based on that event. There's also an accidental death and dismemberment component. There's also disability, and there's also a hospital benefit that I'll get into here in a second. But this just kind of gives you, this is what one unit would look like, and again, they can buy them in multiples, which I'll share for you here in a second. As I said, there is an accident-only disability income rider. So when you're talking to possibly business owners, this starts to make some sense, especially if they're in some occupations where there might be some challenges for them. The hospital cash benefit will give additional funds to the insured if they are hospitalized. It will pay X number of dollars for admission, X number of dollars for them to be in the hospital on a day-to-day basis if they have intensive care, and also if there's some other outpatient treatment. So it's an all-encompassing plan. It kind of makes it easier for people to recognize that if their health insurance, even if it pays 100% of all their bill, which it probably won't, that they'll still receive a check above and beyond whatever their health insurance covered. So there's no coordination with all of the three plans that we have with any other health insurance. You get an accident occur, you have expenditures, we're going to send you a check. So for Emergency Care Plus, we try to promote it in a 1-unit environment, 2 units, 3 units. As you can see here, what we've done is that we've already packaged it so that there's always 5 units of the cash, the hospital cash benefit rider included. So to give you a price point for emergency care, and this is really for all ages because it really is just a packaged, if you will, premium set. For an individual, for having 1 unit, that would have that schedule of benefits that I showed on the other slide, plus 5 units of the cash benefit, is only $74 a year. And for a family unit, it's $366 a year per unit. So you double that, triple it, needless to say, if you buy excessive other units. But it's well priced for the current marketplace. So we had Emergency Care Plus, tremendous success with it being sold on a regular basis. But we wanted to make things just a little easier for, again, people aren't comfortable talking about schedule of benefits. So we introduced Accident Expense Plus about 7 or 8 years ago. We did this prior to, maybe 7 years ago, prior to health reform. And when health reform came up, these sales just skyrocketed. In essence, what we've done here, and this is a playbook that you can ask for the folks from AIM to send to you, and each one of these links will either give you the client guide, it'll give you a producer's guide, it'll give you some marketing material that you use for consumer promotion. It'll also give you some ideas and some training on some of the components of either the electronic signature or the ongoing credit cards. Everything is here on one simple page that you can use as a training tool for yourself. Also, you have the team at AIM that's going to be able to help you go further. So here's what we did. In lieu of having that schedule of benefits, you purchase a pool of money as a consumer ranging from $1,000 to $15,000, and there is a deductible. As I said earlier, there's no coordination with their medical insurance. The deductible just does one thing. It adjusts the premium for the accident component. So if they take a $500 deductible, that means there'll be a lesser premium than the zero. And to make life simple, let's say that a person purchases $10,000 of the accident plan for an annual calendar year deductions, and that they have a claim and they purchase the $500 deductible plan, and that claim was exactly $10,000. And remember, we don't care if their health insurance paid the entire bill. That bill totaled to $10,000. We send them a check for $9,500. That's how the deductible works, so it's pretty simple. In addition to that, there is, and that, again, that's guaranteed issue on the accident component. On the critical illness component, they can buy $5,000 to $25,000 of critical illness that will pay for heart attack, invasive cancer, and stroke. I'll describe that here in the next slide. And this is available for individuals, individual and spouse, or family coverage. Issue ages 0 to 8 through 64, and this is guaranteed renewable to age 65, different from where emergency care goes through to 75. So there's some things you need to be aware of, though, how we design this. Remember, number one, the definition of that accident. It has to be a triggering event. It's a calendar year deductible, not per claim. So if someone did have a claim and it was less than that $10,000 pool, we would have taken the $500 out. They have another one, then it wouldn't have been. That deductible doesn't come out. The individual has to seek treatment 72 hours from the event happening. So they would need to go see a doctor, emergency room, or wherever treatment is going to be done. They also need to have the expenses for Accident Expense Plus done in the 30-day window. There are sometimes some extenuating circumstances, but let's just stay with this, that they have all the treatment done within the 30-day period. 45 days is for the other product, and I'll get into it. These are all the things that are covered. The emergency room, urgent care, surgery, you name it. Most everything directly related to that accident will be covered. Again, we don't coordinate with their major medical coverage, and a lot of their occupational, the only exclusions really we have for the accident plan when you think of it as professional athletes. Otherwise, there really isn't any occupational restrictions. There are some hazardous, like skydiving and things of that nature we won't pay on, but a person who does that as a car accident will still pay the claim. It's 24-hour coverage, so there isn't any limitation on it being work-related. Pardon me. And if you do have a small business ranging from 5 to over 500, we can do a work site or list bill component of this. So it's whether it's employer or employee paid. So this is an individual product that can be transitioned into a work site-like environment. So we talked about the critical illness rider. Invasive cancer, heart attack, and stroke. It's easy to describe. That represents 65% of all the claims in the critical illness world, and the amounts range from $5,000 to $25,000 in $5,000 increments. There's no correlation between the accident benefit and the critical illness. So someone could theoretically purchase $1,000 of accident plan and $25,000 of critical illness if they so desire. So it's guaranteed issue. There's only 3 simple questions for the critical illness rider. Children are eligible for the critical illness benefits. The accident component and the critical illness rather are not tied with each other. They're age-banded rates, and these can be done either with a rapid rater that's available on one of those the playbook that I talked about earlier. We do have a software package called WinFlex that you can run these proposals on, and the only non-tobacco questions are asked for the critical illness rider. So that's Accident Expense Plus. It's been we've been selling that now for 6-7 years, I guess. I'm going to say 7 years. And then the new product has come out, and for the states that are approved for the new product, the Accident Expense Plus is replaced there. Because of what's been transpiring in the health industry and the insurance divisions, in all departments rather, in all the states, we haven't seen any new approvals of the Accident Expense Plus, Accident Choice Plus rather. So we think where we're at right now is going to stay the same. Where Accident Expense Plus is, that's going to stay there. Accident Choice Plus is available, and again, you have emergency care available in all the states. So here's Accident Choice Plus. Why we came out with this product was twofold. People were asking us to add more riders to the policy for the Accident Expense Plus plan. The other was we did have experience with a lot of claims for younger ages and also children. And so we decided to kind of adjust the product design, especially with the fact now that people under 26 could be under the family unit. So that was some other issues that we had to deal with. So the product, for all intents and purposes, is the same as what you would see with Accident Expense Plus. Premiums for individuals and spouses are basically the same. There had been an increase in the family rider for the children's inclusion, and it's enough to help you make more money, and it's still priced well enough that people are purchasing it. So, but that's the difference between Accident Expense Plus and Accident Choice Plus, besides some of the levels of coverage. So let's go into that. So now in the accident component, we've increased that up to $25,000. And now it's done in $5,000 increments, where the Accident Expense Plus is in $1,000. So a person can get up to $25,000 of accident guaranteed issue. The benefit, that pool of money, is a coverage group. So an insured has $25,000. A spouse would have $25,000. The children will share the $25,000 as a unit, because that's a way for us to balance out our claims experience. We changed the deductibles because no one was taking the zero deductibles on the other products, so we did 100, 300, and 500. Again, no correlation or coordination with the major med coverage. It's strictly just for premium, and we are covering children, as I said earlier, up to age 25 or through age 25. Issue ages 0 to 64, as we said earlier, for Accident Expense Plus and guaranteed renewable to age 65. Differences here: still see a physician within 72 hours, but now we're going to give the person on the new Accident Choice Plus 45 days to get all of their claims done, or getting all the treatment done, rather, so as to pay claims. So that's the difference between the two. In addition, we increased the critical illness component. We've seen such a large spike, if you will, in critical illness activity on these riders. So we went up to $50,000, whereas the other product is at $25,000. We also added an accidental death and dismemberment plan to it, so they can have additional coverage in the event that there is either a death from accident, or there is dismemberment, loss of limbs, or such of that nature. And then we also added an accidental disability income, and that goes back now to that business owner world. This is a perfect thing for a new business entity that's having a hard time maybe getting other types of insurance. They can get everything done in one particular case. To give you an idea, and this was done by someone from our marketing department in Houston. They got very excited about the 4 components of the product, the accident component, the critical illness rider, the accidental death and dismemberment, and the DI. And so I call this the really sad family affair. And this is, reality is, though, things happen. So you got a 38-year-old male, he's got 3 children, he's married. This is when we were seeing numbers of people purchasing very, very high deductible plans. And this was they purchased a $25,000 deductible plan, and they want to keep the premiums down. And then during the course of a very short period of time, there's a car accident. John's unable to work for 6 months during the period of time from the accident. The daughter regrettably loses a foot during this. John's wife suffers a heart attack when all of this is transpiring. It's kind of one of those soap opera events. I don't want to make a joke out of this, because things do happen. And so when you think about all the expenditures that happened from the accident alone, it came out to approximately $24,000. Well, because of that, even though their health insurance was paying a number of those, he purchased a $25,000 face value accident plan with us. And so even all of his expenditures are only $1,000 out of his pocket, because he had a $25,000 deductible. We still gave him the check for $25,000, excuse me, for $24,000. So the only dollars that he had to pay out was $1,000. The disability plan paid $2,000 a month for 6 months for him. The accidental death and dismemberment, because the young lady regrettably qualified for the dismemberment component, is over $20,000. And because the wife had that heart attack and she had the rider, she received $50,000. Now, I can see some of you rolling your eyes. Boy, this this is a piece that you could share with the consumer. You say, what if? And if you think about the pool of money that was received by this family unit, because we're talking about when you're looking at the disability component, you're looking at the accident component, the critical illness. I mean, there's $140-some-odd-thousand in that area that was paid out from one event that these people can use the money any way that they want to. And that's the key. This is an opportunity for them to readjust their lives and change some of the things, you know, even go on vacations if that's what they wanted to do after an event like this. So I know it seems a little comical to me even sometimes when I talk about it, but the reality is it does happen. And so you've got a product that not only can you have accident, you have critical illness, you can have disability and accidental death and dismemberment all in one package. So let's kind of talk about why do you want to bring these products to your discussion point with your clients. The reality is a dose of money at the time of an event changes everything. And you have to think about it. As I said earlier, we all know somebody who has passed away from the end results of either an accident or from a diagnosis of an illness, you know, but it could have been years after that is when they died. We all need life insurance, so there's no hiding that fact. But the reality is they need to have some form of protection if a living event happens. And I don't care if they take $5,000 of the accident plan and $5,000 of critical illness insurance. Just think about how happy, that's a bad word, your customers would be if an event happens that you brought this up to them. And just think how it'd probably be difficult for them to say no, because once you let them know something like this is available, and now they're going to worry, what if? What if it does happen? They've seen it happen with others. So this is where you want to bring it up. I'm just going to quickly go over our Critical Care Plus. I talked about it last week. Just another refresher, because what happens now when people look at the critical illness riders on our 3 plans, and they say, this makes sense, can I get more than just 3 illnesses paid? Or is there a higher face value? Yes, they can get up to $500,000 on our standalone plan. They can buy up to $100,000 without having to take a medical. We've got 10-year and 15-year protection plans available for them. We have loss of independent living as being a triggering point when they first purchase the policy and for the rest of their life if they take the lifetime benefit. So Critical Care Plus is the next step if a client understands the value proposition of critical illness riders and they want to talk about that. As I said earlier, you can get up to $100,000 without having to take a medical. We've got a built-in return of premium on the standalone policy only. It's not on the accident plans of the CI rider, but on the standalone critical illness, we do have a built-in return of premium, plus some other benefits that enhance the value of that product in both financial planning, business planning, or personal planning. So where do you take this product? The critical illness component opens up any number of doors. One of the things that I've always tried to stress is that when you have a single income family, there's a lot of folks that this where they, when a child comes into the family unit, someone decides they want to stay home and be a stay-home dad or stay-home mom. So that means one person is generating the income for that family. What if the person that's staying home comes down with an illness or has an accident? And that means that person that is out generating income has to stop what they're doing, change their lifestyle. Well, we'll issue the critical illness rider, the standalone critical illness, the accident plan on people, non-earning spouses. So there's a pool of money that will be available for it. You don't want people to lose their mortgage. You want to emphasize that these events happen and you need to have at least enough money to cover 2 years of your mortgage payment, 1 year of your mortgage payment. It doesn't make any difference. There's a lot of people that are self-employed that have a limitation on getting disability insurance. They have challenges qualifying, maybe because they just started their business. Here's what a product will come in. Home renovation. Events happen, an accident or an illness or something that requires a change in what their home environment is, structure of their home. There's no insurance that really pays for that except for this. So there's any number of opportunities for you to convey to someone why they should have one of these supplemental plans that pay at the time of diagnosis. Remember, high probability of occurrence. Someone will have a critical illness. 1 out of 9 people will have an accident. I think it's something you want to incorporate into your discussions. And there, Dave, is the end of my presentation.
Bob, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And I'm right now in the process of unmuting people, so bear with me for just a minute. And we'll open this up. And if you do have me on a speakerphone, if you could please dial *6 to mute yourself. We can keep the background noise to a minimum. But please, just about done here. Okay, everybody is in or unmuted right now. We'd love to hear any questions that you may have of Bob on either their personal accidents and or his critical illness offering as well.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
I got a quick question. I lost my screen in the beginning of the presentation, and I tried to get back in. They wouldn't let me back in. Those things that you were showing, those flip charts or whatever they were, how can I get a copy of them since I couldn't take notes fast enough?
Oh, no worries. You have two options there. First, we recorded this session.
Okay.
So you can go back onto our website and review the recorded session as early as noon today. It should be up there, potentially. And I also have a copy of the PowerPoint presentation that I'd be happy to email to you.
Could you?
Who am I speaking with?
My name is Robert Furman, F-U-R-M-A-N.
Oh, okay, Robert, sure.
Do you want my,
No,
my email address?
I've got you, Robert.
Okay.
Hey, Dave, the one that you have is a different version than this one. I'll send you this one.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Okay.
All right, I appreciate it.
Sure.
Great.
Any other questions out there?
Now, almost all this matter, almost all this stuff you discussed is from AIM, A-I-M?
Yes.
Yes, it's all available through us. Yes.
Okay. Sounds good.
The one product that seemed to be approved nationwide was the Emergency Care Plus.
Correct.
Are you working on getting the others to be as broadly available?
Yes, and that's the challenge, needless to say, we've been run into is because of health reform and all of the state insurance commissioners trying to get the exchanges done, limited resources of employees. So ultimately, we would love to have the Accident Choice Plus, be the secondary product, if you will, the non-schedule of benefits plan. But I'm going to say, as of right now, with all the uncertainty, if you will, with all the insurance divisions, we're going to have these three, at least for the next year or so, probably going to have to bounce around. Apologize, just the nature of the beast.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, brief commercial here. Next Tuesday, the 20th at 9 a.m. is our next scheduled webinar. It's on our Connected Agent program. I would encourage you all to join us again for that one. Again, all these sessions are recorded and they're put back up on our website. You go into the www.yaim.com, so the word Y, AIM.com. Click on News and Events, select the webinar you'd like to view, click on it, and it will take you to a link to watch the YouTube version of this session today, for example. Again, we go back 9 months with recorded webinars. You have quite a library to select from. And with that, I do appreciate you taking the time on a Friday morning to join us. And I'll be following up with each and every one of you individually. So have a great weekend and make it a great day.
So long, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob.